and ad packages. Get extra special rates and run the ads only when you want them to run. Call the ZNS sales office today at 502-3800.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
The year is 1830. Pompey was only one of the thousands of slaves toiling on the islands of the Bahamas. John Roll, a British lord and a large plantation owner on the island of Exuma, declared that 77 of his slaves would be transferred to work on Cat Island in the Bahamas. Pompey, a 32-year-old slave, defied the transfer order.
Pompey was a slave on the Roll estate in Exuma, and we know that by the 1830s there was much dissension among the enslaved persons in the region throughout the world because the abolition movement was going on, and they knew that there was going to be change, and they resisted. So when the authorities at the plantation in Exuma decided that they were going to relocate Pompey and other slaves to Cat Island, we know that some of them went to Trinidad, they protested. They decided they were not leaving. They had established communities there, families there. They were farming. They were not going to leave. And that is what caused the revolt. And Pompey, along with others in the settlement, approximately 44 of them, were, after the skirmish, the encounter with the authorities, they took the salt boats of the planter and they came to Nassau. They wanted to see the governor. The governor at the time was James Carmichael Smith, and they came to see him. He was himself an abolitionist, but they were arrested, put in the workhouse. Eventually they were freed, and Pompey went back to Exuma as a hero.
Oh, freedom, oh, freedom, oh, freedom over me. And before I'll be a slave, I'll be buried in my grave and go home to my Lord and be free.
By now, you should understand exactly who Pompey is. With that in mind, Alive decided to partner with the National Art Gallery of the Bahamas and the Antiquities, Monuments and Museums Corporation to add some flavor to what is known as the Pompey Museum. The museum, located in downtown Nassau, is one of the several historic buildings in New Providence. Deputy Director of the National Museum of the Bahamas, Kim Outen-Stubbs, and Deputy Leader for Communications and Education, Malika Martin, explains the history behind the museum and Pompey himself.
The Pompey Museum of Slavery and Emancipation was opened in 1992. And the building, however, dates back to 1769 or thereabouts. And the building is called Vendu House, which means sold. And it was a marketplace from which slaves, food goods, animals, anything that was for sale happened here. Initially, this building was a marketplace. All of the columns, all of the arches would have been open. It was a one-story building, and it was the center of commerce with Government House at the top of the hill, the cathedral, and the center of the military at the west.
Pompey himself is one of the most influential historical figures, one that perhaps we don't talk about as much as we should, but in the context of Pompey Museum, what you have is an institution. The building itself is centuries old. It is a former auction house for enslaved or captured Africans who would eventually be enslaved. So there's this incredibly rich history around the space itself, which was one of the reasons why we were so glad that Alive got in contact with us and reached out to us, because it was really important that there be an authentic sort of conversation and creation, so that it just wouldn't be a branding opportunity, but really an opportunity to honor both the building itself, its historical significance, what's happening on the inside of Pompeii, which is really important as well. I mean, buildings are wonderful. You know, we love our Villa Doyle, but they only tell so much of our story. When you come inside, there's a much broader, as well as a much more nuanced narrative, and you see that in Pompey Museum as well.
Driving downtown on Main Bay Street, you would now see that the western and front portion of the Pompey Museum has a mural painted on it. How did it get there? Why is it there? The idea was born from a conversation between Chief Alive Commercial Officer Gravette Brown and Alive content developer Theo McLean.
A few months ago, me and Gravette walked downtown and noticed that there was a lack of color and vibrance within the community, just of the Bahamas in general. But downtown being the main attraction of the tourist industry, or just being a main attraction of the Bahamas, it was kind of dropped. So the use of the live motif colors have been applied effectively. My position within this whole organization is to ensure that the brand is reflected and represented in a tasteful manner. And as you can see, Julian has done a stellar job with it.
Theo McLean, who is one of our very talented parts of our production and content team. He's a graphic designer and an artist. He and I started talking about how we could infuse art throughout the Bahamas and using Alive as a brand signal, because we really felt that art was a very big part of the Alive brand. And so we had some conversations, we did some work about it. Kind of around the same time I started conversations with Pompey Museum. We wanted to find ways to help them elevate their brand. And these conversations that Theo and I had kind of took flight, and I thought, okay, well, maybe we can do a mural. And so we just started that conversation with them. And it took a year, you know? I mean, I think all great things take time.
And take time it did. The process of painting the mural onto an historic building was an involved one. So involved that it took 8 long weeks to paint once the design was chosen. Lead artist Julian Smith took on one of the biggest projects of his life.
My job was to look at and see what was there and to extract from that and create a composition and, create these images that were juxtaposed against each other. And obviously, naturally, what came to me was a sort of collage of imagery. And it involved, using scaffolding and a comprehensive scaffolding, and there was some misunderstanding and misjudging about all the materials and everything that needed to be in place in order to execute it. We needed to get up to the heights that you can see, and a lot of that, there was some miscommunication in the beginning, but those hurdles were crossed, and we were able to get it done. And I think, for the most part, we can say that we're happy with what has resulted.
Mrs. Alton Stubbs notes that Mr. Smith wasn't just randomly selected. A competition was actually held to select the artist who would get to paint on the Pompey Museum.
We were initially approached by Alive to partner and do a project. I spoke with people from your company about the idea of something at Pompey Museum that would help us to attract more people to the museum so that they could find out more about the museum, so that they would feel that this is theirs, they can come in, they know that it's here. And we walked the site, and it was decided we would do a mural. And then we decided now we need to find the right artist, somebody who can see the vision and what needs to happen. We interviewed a number of artists. We had renderings from a number of artists. We at Antiquities insisted that the mural needed to reflect what was here in the museum.
As Bahamians, we often fail to realize just how significant art is to our culture.
I love the fact that Alive is bringing art awareness to the Bahamas, mainly because it allows individuals to express themselves in any manner. Sound, arts, performing arts, anything of the magnitude we embrace. The diversity of the Bahamian culture also is reflected through arts. Being a part of this initiative, it means a lot to me because I've growing up in the Bahamas, you see the suppression in certain areas of our culture. And in cases like this, it is breaking the boundaries.
We don't realize when we see something with beauty how that can just change your outlook for the day. You wake up in the morning, instead of looking at just a plain wall, now you can look at an image that makes you think, that makes you wonder, that makes you imagine, you know, that makes you believe in something a bit greater maybe than whatever circumstance you happen to find yourself in. That is what art does. And as I said, we believe it's really intrinsic to our brand. I mean, art represents creativity. Creativity is alive. It's what we're all about, pushing the envelope, encouraging people to think about things that are, you know, better and beyond and greater than themselves, greater than ourselves.
And this mural is fantastic. It is a great piece of work done by Mr. Smith, depicting from whence we have come as a people. It depicts the struggle. It depicts freedom. It depicts Bahamian history.
I wanted to treat the building and the history of the building with respect. And so I questioned, you know, do you really want me to just paint directly on the walls? And, you know, what is that going to mean, you know, and is it going to be maintained? And you know, I was assured that yes, you know, that would be the case. And like I said, once the work was on it, you know, my queries and my doubts about, you know, the surface, you know, just kind of, it went away.
The job was a mammoth task. So Mr. Smith decided to engage the help of several people, 6 other artisans to be exact. 3 of them, Tabitha Adderley, Veron Adderley, and Janeve Smith.
Coming up in the news, residents of Garden Villas sharing their views on the transformation of their neighborhood. The Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini initiating the biggest road repair project in West Grand Bahama. And to hear what's in stock at the local hardware stores for this hurricane season. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
These things then falling down now. People them need help. Yes, that's a good idea over the government them up.
Residents weighing in on the transformation of Garden Villas community. Good evening all, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks for tuning in. News hitting our newsroom yesterday that the area in Freeport, infamously known as the Ghetto, is set to undergo a major overhaul. That much announced by the Minister of Housing and Urban Renewal, who is confident that it would signal hope and opportunity for Bahamians. While our Raven Davis visited the area to find out how the residents are feeling about this announcement and joins us live now with more.
Rico, that announcement on Monday that government intends to transform this Garden Villas area into an affordable housing subdivision has been generating a lot of lively discussions. What I can tell you from canvassing this area is that many families call this place home despite the conditions of these buildings. There are some persons who are even actively running businesses out of these buildings, and so today they're giving their take on that matter.
You think them then falling down now. The people them need help.
Pieces of blue tarpaulin roofs gaping holes throughout the structures and faded paint, just a shell of what once was. Now residents say they're open to change.
I'm one of the CEO.
Coming up in the news, residents of Garden Villas sharing their views on the transformation of their neighborhood. The Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini initiating the biggest road repair project in West Grand Bahama. And to hear what's in stock at the local hardware stores for this hurricane season. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
You think them then falling down now. The people them need help. Yes, that's a good idea with the government them up.
Residents weighing in on the transformation of the Garden Villas community. Good evening all, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thanks for tuning in. News hitting our newsroom yesterday that the area in Freeport, infamously known as the Ghetto, is set to undergo a major overhaul. That much announced by the Minister of Housing and Urban Renewal, who is confident that it would signal hope and opportunity for Bahamians. While our Raven Davis visited the area to find out how the residents are feeling about this announcement. Raven.
Ramiko, that announcement on Monday that government intends to transform this Garden Villas area into an affordable housing subdivision has been generating a lot of lively discussions. What I can tell you from canvassing this area is that many families call this place home despite the conditions of these buildings. There are some persons who are even actively running businesses out of these buildings, and so today they're giving their take on that matter.
You think them then falling down now. The people them need help.
Pieces of blue tarpaulin roofs gaping holes throughout the structures and faded paint, just a shell of what once was. Now residents say they're open to change.
I'm one of the CEO for this unit right here. So me and the government, we had, at least the government representative, Mr. Bell, we had some sit down, and it's all promising and positive. And yeah, I do agree with what's going on, the improvement.
The people them just got to come to the light and open their eyes and see what God trying to do and the government them trying to do for them. They have been rotten roads, these and all now, termite and all. Yeah, you see, like, you know, one coming around here to spray these or nothing.
Government said yesterday agreements have been entered for the purchase of several buildings in the area.
I never liked the word the ghetto because ghetto is in the mind. So that's the first thing. I think it's a good thing to start with the mind psychologically. Give people a better living condition.
The people living there ain't doing nothing with the building. They just sitting there, okay? And they putting all kind of top on the roof. The building need to either repair or push down. And
would it beautify the place? You know, all these dilapidated buildings around here, they need to do something about it. And I 100% for it.
I think it will lift up the downtown area and the ghetto area and will make people feel like it's a nice place to live again, and we can bring it back from what it was from when, you know, when they only used to rent that place to white people.
But one business owner questions the fate of some of those severely underprivileged residents.
Is the government going to put them in an adequate place for them to stay until they do the project? And then a lot of times when I see, they say that the government's going to bring about affordable, what might be affordable to one might not be affordable to the next. But in terms of knocking down the ghetto, I mean, I with it.
Now, Rumiko, as with most things, there is a process that has to be followed, so we await further details on when some of these buildings will actually come down. But for now, residents are just hopeful that in due time, this will, of course, happen. Reporting live from the Garden Villas area, I'm Raven Davis. Back to you at the desk.
Thanks so much, Raven. Well, the Housing Minister, Keith Bell, during his budget communication says that the government is firmly committed to addressing the nation's housing shortage with real, tangible results. Current housing initiatives aim to create thriving communities and ensure that Bahamians have stable, affordable places to live. This comment includes making concrete steps to resolve the housing crisis, particularly in areas like Abaco, where projects are advancing as planned.
We are making strides. The projects there are advancing as planned, with homes being constructed and handed over to families, reinforcing our commitment to rebuilding and revitalizing the community after the devastation of Hurricane Dorian.
He says the government is ensuring that the benefits of these housing projects remain within the community by hiring local contractors. The news, there is some good news for West Grand Bahama community as the Member of Parliament announcing the biggest road project to take shape in the area. As Yolanda Thompson-Everest reports, the initial phase includes patching the roads to ensure motorists' safety, followed by a proper road repair project.
Residents in the West Grand Bahama area have been pleading for years for the roads in the community to be repaired. It is large potholes like this one that is often blamed for damaging many vehicles. It is a campaign promised by MP Kingsley Smith to fix this outstanding issue, and as you can see by the amount of construction crews in the area, he's delivering on that promise.
Pleased to know that we have begun to patch the potholes in 8 Mile Rock. It is always an issue for many years that, especially in the Martin Town area, the type of surface that is on the road poses a problem as it relates to flooding or water settling.
Construction crews filling the potholes that cold lay asphalt, followed by a tampering machine to smooth out the surface of the top coat. But this is just the beginning, as the MP says this is being done in the interim, boasting that a full scope of road repairs will be carried out next year. He says it will be one of the biggest road projects in West Grand Bahama.
So after the signing, the potential signing for this contract, obviously there will be, you need to mobilize. The company needs to mobilize, right? And so they expected, if it is signed, they would need 6 months before actual paving begin. And so they are gunning for January 2025 to begin the works. But however, once they would have signed, then there will be an upkeep of the road, so any potholes that will be taken care of immediately at that particular time until the repaving, which is scheduled for January 2025.
The district administrator for West Grand Bahama, Leonard Dames Jr., shares why this initiative is important.
When we meet every month as local government practitioners in our township, this is one topic or one subject that always comes up about the need for attention, immediate attention for the roads to be done. So I'm sure that the residents and persons who traverse the streets here in West Grand Bahama are pleased to know that some sort of attention has been given to the roads in the main thoroughfare.
The MP emphasizes that these road repairs will be carried throughout the entire West Grand Bahama. He underlines that safety is key, and he's asking residents to adhere to the speed limit. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Yolanda Thompson-Everest.
Well, we are now in the third week of 2024 Atlantic hurricane season with some activity in the tropics. We get an update from stores on how prepared they are to ensure residents get the tools and items necessary in the event of a storm. Shane Stubbs has that story.
It'll continue to work its way on that general path towards the coastline. Big question is, does it develop?
It's already an active season according to recent forecasts, as the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season is upon us. With the small disturbance to the east of the country having a slight chance for development, our hardware store is prepared. It certainly seems so, as various locations have done their due diligence ahead of the season. General Manager at Dolly Madison, James Rolls, says they've been ready well before June 1st.
If you see to your left, we have a table displaying all of the basic hurricane paraphernalia that residents would need. So just in case persons aren't too familiar with how to use these items, we have it on display.
The same goes for Kelly's, who is one of the major suppliers for plywood. Warning against the last-minute rush, however, was hardware sales rep Jonelle Delancey.
It's best to come early, as soon as possible,
You always have to be prepared early. Stock them up and put them on the side, because like they say, you always have to be prepared because you never know what could happen.
Now, as for third dimension, learning from past storms has actually helped them expand their horizons to help residents prepare.
Operations Manager Felicia Barb says one of their key focuses for inventory has been flood protection.
I know since Dorian, a lot of people have been worried about that flooding aspect, so I've upped my quantities on any flood protection and things to protect your windows and doors.
But have they seen residents purchasing early? No, but understanding their clientele, they say they are prepared for the early or late rush.
Not as yet. I haven't seen an uptick yet, but you know us Bahamians are very last minute.
Some people do prepare early and others do prepare late. So we do have early comers and then we do have late comers.
They love to come in and do that influx of purchases when they closer to having a hurricane that's coming, so we're prepared for both times.
A lot of times after the storm is when persons really realize what it is that they need in order to survive or get themselves back together. So we do have a fair amount of overstock items.
For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Shane Stubbs.
Father's Day is gone, but many fathers say that the one special gift they received was the traditional Bahamian crab and rice. That story and more straight ahead.
There are some things that are undeniably Bahamian. A good count salad, junkanoo, the way we worship, the way we take care of one another, all undeniably Bahamian. And right in the midst of our iconic things, places, and people is Commonwealth Bank. Increasing access, sponsoring dreams, working alongside Bahamians to increase the quality of their lives for more than 60 years. Commonwealth Bank, nothing more than being Bahamian. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
Come on down and see what Dolly Madison has in store for you. Renovate and rejuvenate at Dolly Madison.
Dolly Madison.
Unwind every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Prop Club at the Grand Lucine Hotel. Enjoy tasty food specials on draft beers and house specialty pizzas. The Prop Club, the best place to meet friends and enjoy happy hour.
What are we gonna do? We forgot your daddy's birthday. He's in New Lutheran and we're all the way in Nassau. You got it? Okay. Yes, you're right. Tomorrow? No problem.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm self-insuring my investments, starting with this tarp.
We all remember the blue tarps after the storm. Let's make sure that we are covered with more than a tarp. Don't allow your investment to be at risk. Protect your investment with one of our insurance policies.
Nobody
does
it better.
Celebrate this year's graduates by shopping with Bellevue Gifts, where you will find an array of graduation decor, confetti, foil balloons, tumblers, greeting cards, and gift sets. Congratulations to our 2024 grads for the management of Bellevue Gifts and Supplies.
The Grand Bahama Port Authority Andre Rogers Junior National Baseball Championships are set for June 20th to the 23rd on Grand Bahama. Come support the next wave of Bahamian Major League prospects in 8 and under, 10 and under, 12 and under, and 14 and under at Amera Baseball Park. The Grand Bahama Port Authority Andre Rogers Baseball Nationals are back. Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. They are known globally and have often taken the world stage through their musical performances. Last week, the sweet sounds of the brass band were played in Cuba as its members traveled representing the Bahamas and the band. Our Jolanda Thompson Everest was along for the ride and filed this report.
Hey
Hey guys, ZNS Northern Service is traveling with the Bahama Brass Band all the way to Havana, Cuba. The band will be performing at musical concerts, schools, and other venues, all in an effort to showcase Bahamian talent, music, and culture.
This would be the first time that the Bahama Brass Band has traveled to Cuba, and we are going there to put off a few concerts just to express our side of the Bahamian culture, to let the Cuban community see how diverse our culture is.
Morris explains that the residents of Havana, Cuba may have had a taste of the country's cultural festival, Junkanoo, musical performances by the prison band, the police band, and even the Defense Force band. But there's no other sweet-sounding music that's entertaining and tuneful like the Bahama Brass Band, a composition of music and spirit.
We prepared ourselves to play the music that we do that touches the hearts and lives of people. And so it's going to be an amazing time for the gospel to be represented in such a way in Cuba.
Morris concludes that although the band is a musical institution, they are a gospel-carrying.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the National Report, a former Prime Minister tonight in hospital. Hear what doctors say led him there. A done deal. Endless days of debate ends with the 2024-2025 budget sailing through the lower chamber, with its next stop, the Senate. Plus, years of agitating apparently paying off as plans for a new parliament take shape. Find out when officials hope to break ground. And in sports, Bahamian NBA players in training camp. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Makush Lapinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. Social media all abuzz with rumors of a former prime minister facing a dire medical condition. Tonight, those claims squashed by his medical team, who confirmed that while there was a procedure, the senior statesman remains in care and is recuperating. Our Lloyd Allen is live from Doctors Hospital's Administrative Center, where a press conference was held earlier. Lloyd, what can you tell us?
Well, good evening, Makushta, and good evening, Bahamas. Rumors of former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Hubert Ingraham, undergoing brain surgery confirmed. This coming in earlier this afternoon by a Doctors Hospital medical team. That team led by the former Prime Minister's primary physician, Dr. Dwayne Sands, who indicated following a series of headaches and dexterity-related challenges, all climaxing just about a week prior to the Free National Movement's convention, the call was made for a scan. That scan revealing a acute chronic subdural hematoma or blood clot, and that was on the outer portion of the former Prime Minister's skull.
Former Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Hubert Ingraham, was admitted to Doctors Hospital yesterday. He underwent emergency surgery. He is convalescing extremely well. He's in good spirits. As a matter of fact, I just left him a few minutes ago. We had a good laugh together. But I repeat that any reports of his serious illness or demise are exaggerated.
Lead neurosurgeon Dr. Magnus Ideke notes that surgery was critical following a number of complaints by former Prime Minister Ingraham.
It was pretty big and was pushing the brain slightly, so we had to go and take it out. As a matter of fact, he could have gone home this morning, but not to be too hasty in our treatment, we had to leave him to recover a little bit more. So he'll be going home tomorrow. And it has been a very excellent care, not because he was a prime minister, but because, if you have caring people, you have to care for your people as well. And the only thing I could say is, remember you guys, it's not on me, it's not on Dwayne, it's not on Gabron, it's not on Cargo that this is possible. It's only the Lord.
Now, because the former Prime Minister Ingraham reportedly underwent a 2-hour surgery, he is convalescing now at Doctors Hospital and is expected to be discharged sometime tomorrow. Now, the cause is said to be due to age and possible trauma. However, no indication that the issue was related to a previous heart issue was noted. Reporting live from Doctors Hospital for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen.
Well, thanks, Lloyd. We hope to bring you an update on that story in a later newscast. In other news tonight, after 7 grueling hours combing through some 76 heads, the 2024-2025 budget bills were passed in the House of Assembly after 10 o'clock last evening, clearing the way for its debate in the Senate tomorrow morning. The proposed fiscal plan projects capital expenditure to come in at $344.5 million and revenue at $2.5 billion. Now, during his wrap-up Monday afternoon, Minister of Finance, Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis chastised the opposition for criticizing his comments on revenue collection, specifically collecting 9% value-added tax on foreign purchases over $1 million, and this rather than acknowledging their targeted push toward economic recovery.
So far as our projections are concerned, right? I know you're not the only one astounded by what we're achieving, you know. The IMF would have told you the same thing. They would have told you how they're astounded at how well we're doing. We're doing better than expected and better than the rest, and we'll continue doing just as well with the initiatives we have in place. So our optimism is rooted in experience, it's rooted in what we have accomplished so far, and we believe we'll stay on the same track.
Now, as indicated on Wednesday, members of the upper chamber will table the bills and from there head into second reading and debate before passage before taking effect July 1st. Well, Minister of Housing and Urban Renewal, the Honorable Keith Bell, using a portion of his budget contribution Monday to speak to housing initiatives, beginning with efforts to secure regulatory approval for another phase in Pinecrest subdivision. Now, should all go as planned, construction's to begin by the fall, with the first residents taking occupancy within 6 months of breaking ground. Over in Eleuthera, keys to homes in the Ocean Hole subdivision to be handed over, with every expectation that San Salvador's housing projects will be completed by the fall. According to the minister, San Salvador will also serve as the pilot for the rent-to-own program. As for Grand Bahama's severely depressed area of Garden Villas, agreements have been sealed for the tearing down of several buildings there, clearing the way for the redevelopment of an affordable housing community, according to the housing minister, the Honorable Keith Bell. Well, the local fisheries sector, certainly big business. Even the marine resources minister is convinced the Bahamas is sitting on a gold mine. But 2023 did not yield as much as officials would have liked. Citing numbers, Centerville MP, the Honorable Jomo Campbell, revealed in the House of Assembly that by weight, there was a 0.5% decrease in fishery products and resources landings and a 12.5% drop in the value of products and resources landed compared to the year prior.
This decrease was due largely because of the decrease in core fish landings and their price per pound. Core fish landings saw a decrease of some 4% in total landings in comparison to the year 2022, and a 14.4% decrease in the total value of core fish landings compared to 2022.
Well, while we're on the budget, a contract signed for the design of a new parliament with Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, expecting shovels to hit the ground late next year. In fact, he says he spoke with the architects and engineers on Monday. The new facility is to be erected on the site of the old East Hill Street Post Office. According to the minister, it's key the new parliament be wheelchair accessible, considering the limitations of the existing one. The estimated cost of the multi-phase project is pegged at $2 million.
We don't have to actually go and borrow money to do it. Try to avoid that by doing it in smaller pieces and just getting it up there. But whatever obtains at the end of the day, the building should dominate the Bahamas skyline.
Still to come, you're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. More news in a moment.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Folk Call Smart Pass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
In the chaos of our daily lives, it's easy to be caught up in the rush. But when you're behind the wheel, remember, rushing can lead to disaster. Don't rush. Take your time. Remember, your life and others depends on it. Slow down. Stay alert and arrive alive. Because in the race of life, it's not about how fast you get there, but how safely.
This message is brought to you by Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
It's so radical. New, the Kentucky Pizza Sandwich. Crispy chicken topped with marinara sauce, mozzarella, and pepperoni. It's so new. It's so radical. Order your Pizza Sandwich now at kfcnassau.com. It's finger-licking good.
Together, we build a future of innovation. History in the making. Introducing the first painted coin issued into circulation in our 50-year history. The Bahamas 25-cent coin. Join us in commemorating the 50th anniversary of the Central Bank of the Bahamas. Together, we thrive.
We all know that our country's electricity infrastructure is decades old. It is breaking down, it is too expensive, and it cannot transmit clean energy. Small changes aren't enough. We are taking it all on. Upgrading and modernizing the grid, solar power, major energy reform. That's how we get to lower prices and more reliable electricity. It will not happen overnight, but it will be game-changing. A new energy era for the Bahamas.
Daddy's birthday. He's in Eleuthera and we're all the way in Nassau. You got it? Okay. Yes, you're right.
Eleuthera for tomorrow? No problem.
Throughout history, from bartering in ancient markets to the invention of paper currency, convenience has been at the heart of the way we pay. As time marched on, so have we, from barter to cash and cash to digital. Whether you pay with an online bank transfer, digital wallet, or contactless card, with digital payments, options abound. The world never stops evolving, and neither should you. Choose freedom, choose flexibility, choose convenience. The future of pay is digital. Visit us online at livedigitalbahamas.com and on social media.
SHSS Electrical has relocated. You can now find them on Chesapeake Road in the former Minute Muffler building. There, you can pick up Square D switches, combos, breakers, and breaker panels, plus all the electrical wires you need. Want meter cans, LED bulbs, and ceiling fans? You can find it all at SHSS Electrical.
Sign up now for the Bahamas Baptist University Summer Camp 2024. Our sensational workshop sessions are June 24th to July 19th and July 22nd to August 16th. Our 3D printing workshop runs from June 24th to June 29th, 2024.
Don't let your home or business be in the dark. When there's a blackout, it's time to purchase the new EcoFlow portable generator. This powerful device gives you hours of uninterrupted electricity for your fans, refrigerator, television, and air conditioning units. Dial 327-4504 and see how affordable your EcoFlow portable generator is.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
The Office of the Prime Minister announcing the appointment of Senator Quentin Lightbourne as the Caribbean official to the Inter-American Development Bank's board. He will represent Caribbean countries on this board that decides financing and provides loans for a number of key programs undertaken by governments across the globe. He spoke with our Corval Pyfram about his historic appointment.
After more than 2 years in his current role, Senator Quentin Lightbourne is preparing to bid farewell as chairman of the Bahamas Development Bank.
The Bahamas Development Bank has a track record of providing funding and loan funding for a lot of business, BWF, powerboat adventures, and a number of mailboats throughout the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And so we want to continue that at the Bahamas Development Bank because it's important not just to move large businesses, but medium and small businesses as well.
His new position as alternate executive director for the Caribbean at the Inter-American Development Bank starts July 1. At age 37, he's the youngest Bahamian ever appointed to this position. The freshman senator looks forward to the challenge of such a demanding job while recognizing the importance the board plays on the world stage.
Where there's infrastructure, transportation, renewable energy, I'll be sitting on that board with major stakeholders from all over the world to make decisions that are beneficial for our Caribbean countries.
Along with that, he's also looking forward to help tackling those issues primarily impacting the Bahamas and the region.
Obviously, we know the cost of energy in the Bahamas is something that, successive governments have been trying to, achieve. And I think, something like this is very important. I'll be in a position where I'll be able to assist and move the country forward in that regard.
Senator Lightbourne, as chair of the BDB, earned a lot of praise for his instrumental role in securing a $30 million loan from the Afra-Exim Bank. And with the success of last week's Afra-Exim conference, he reminds Bahamians to take advantage of the opportunities.
I think the conference has allowed Bahamians to look at it from a global perspective and not just one particular area or sector, but so that allows and it pretty much opens the mind that that the resources are out there and you have to be innovative and you have to be diligent and try to go out there and secure resources and secure business partners. From a trade perspective as well, it's phenomenal in terms of what we could do with commodities and natural resources from Africa and the Caribbean. The sky is the limit in terms of the region and being able to connect and move forward.
Looking back, he's pleased with the work he's done at the Bahamas Development Bank and where the bank is headed. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corval Pyfram.
Well, the Western world on high alert after Russian warships conducted a military exercise in the Atlantic last week before making a stop in Cuba. Cleopatra Murphy has the Minister of Foreign Affairs' reaction.
The recent visit of 4 Russian warships to Cuba aren't setting off any alarms for the Bahamas. The 4 vessels, including a nuclear-powered submarine, departed Havana Monday after a 5-day visit and followed military drills in the Atlantic Ocean. Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, addressed whether he was at all concerned by the fleet's presence in the region.
Doesn't look to me like there's anything to be concerned about. What you do know, of course, is that many what is that expression? Many a slip comes between the cup and the lip. So people who are in the business of these big warships at sea, and of course the Americans have a big navy, obviously watch what other navies are doing. And it is always possible, even in a drill, for mistakes to happen or some misfiring or some misunderstanding. So I think there are rules which apply when these drills are taking place. You have to notify people that you're doing the drills so that nobody gets taken by surprise.
The visit comes amidst ongoing tensions between the U.S. and Russia over the latter's more than 2-year-long war with Ukraine. It's a war the Bahamas has taken a firm stance on and one the Minister of Foreign Affairs acknowledges.
I don't think there's any ill intent by the Russians toward us. We certainly have no ill intent against them, but we do say they need to withdraw from Ukraine. I mean, that is quite clear. They shouldn't be in Ukraine, and they should withdraw from Ukraine. But that position, I think, has not imperiled the Bahamas in any way as regards Russia and their intent toward us.
Ahead of the visit, CNN reports that Cuba said it was not a threat to the region, while just a day after the fleet's arrival, the U.S. Southern Command posted to X that U.S. fast-track submarine USS Helena was in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, as part of the routine port visit. asked amidst a continued tension between the U.S. and Russia over U.S. support of Ukraine in the war if Russia's presence could be a subtle message to the U.S. Mitchell says, for now, both countries that seem equally balanced in military might seem to be playing by set rules. He is taking the visit at face value.
Just reading the public information, it appears that this is just a normal port of call that ships make from time to time. In fact, I saw an extensive tour took place by a CNN reporter on the ship. So the Russians had allowed people to come and visit the ship. Similar to what happens when U.S. and other ships come to the Bahamas, they allow people to go and tour the ships. Sailors have a port of call and they come off and they intermingle with the local population. That's the way it seems to me.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Well, not at all the way one family here in New Providence was hoping to kick off summer vacation, but police tonight are busy probing the circumstances surrounding the drowning of a 13-year-old boy at a home off West Bay Street Monday evening. Authorities have so far determined that the teen was swimming with relatives at a pool in Delaport Point around 8:30 p.m. when he became unresponsive. Family members retrieved him from the water and CPR was administered. Despite best efforts, CMS personnel confirmed that the boy had died. Investigations into the matter continue. Meantime, the search is on for the man who sexually assaulted a 24-year-old woman on Monday. Police said the victim was at her workplace in southwestern New Providence shortly before 9 o'clock yesterday when she was reportedly sexually assaulted by a man she knew. Investigations into that matter are underway. In other news, parties in the trial involving former Water and Sewage Executive Chairman Adrian Gibson and others returned to court today. However, the matter was adjourned to allow legal discussions in the absence of the jury. Now, Gibson and former Water and Sewage General Manager Elwood Donaldson, Joan Knowles, Jerome Missick, and Peaches Farquharson are facing a number of charges in the case stemming from the awarding of contracts during Gibson's tenure as executive chairman. Senior Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson is presiding over the case. An increasing number of young women are being diagnosed with PCOS and are unable to find new avenues to address their issues and their flare-ups. LaDawn Davis caught up with one woman who experienced the condition firsthand and how a natural source helped.
I was diagnosed with PCOS when I was 16.
Business coach Shantae Rigby is one of thousands of Bahamian women in their childbearing years battling PCOS or polycystic ovary syndrome, a condition that prohibits ovulation, missed menstrual cycles, causes excessive hair growth in unusual areas, and weight gain. But for Shantae, PCOS gave her quite a scare in her teenage years, and after getting frustrated with taking contraceptives, she decided to take full advantage of the health benefits CMOS gels have to offer.
But then after a while, you realize, this isn't natural. You don't really know what it's doing to your body. And so I said, let me find a more naturopathic way to handle my situation. And then I met Charlene, and I started taking a range of her products, including the CMOS. And one of the things with PCOS is that it causes inflammation. So you have to manage things that inflame your body. So some of the ingredients she adds to it, like ginger and so forth, they also help with calming down the inflammation. So now that I use it, I can apply it to my face. It does help with acne. It keeps your skin smooth. And then I take 1 or 2 spoons every day.
Nutritionist Shay King says over the past 3 years, the list of Bahamian women jumping on the CMOS experience to ease their PCOS flare-ups has been quite extensive. But on the downside, though, she's strongly advising women to get a proper diagnosis before trying the natural remedy.
The numbers right now is close to about 400 women, and this is basically over in the last 2 years, and their ages range from anywhere from between 20 to about 35. And you find it's younger adults because these are the women that are getting married, and these are the women that are trying to conceive. And
looking on the bright side, the company CMOS on Everything has about 2,500 clients nationwide and continues to reap positive results. And when asked about some of the nutrients found in CMOS that's making the superfood so popular, Shay said this.
Because the body naturally is made up of minerals, and there are 102 minerals naturally that the body needs to sustain itself, to heal itself, and to survive. CMOS has anywhere between 92 to 95 of these minerals.
The mother of 4 young adult daughters says it gives her a great feeling to know that she's been able to help women live healthier and comfortable lifestyles regardless of their PCOS diagnosis. She encourages customers to be more creative when jumping on board the CMOS revolution and stick to it. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm LaDawn Davis.
Oh, we still have more news to come, but Marcellus Hall has a look at what's coming up in sports. Marcellus?
Coming up in sports for you tonight, a look at our men's national senior team as they get ready for the Olympic qualifiers. Details ahead in sports.
If you see news in the making, call ZNS News at 502-3800 or email us at znsnews@gmail.com.
A decade ago, the Bahamas Striping Group of companies was birthed out of a passion to change the way we travel. From only a $5,000 grant, the tenacity and work ethic has propelled BSGC to one of the leading road management companies in the Caribbean. We pride ourselves on going the extra mile where others won't, through the use of our state-of-the-art equipment and our certified team. Although the success is commendable, the road has been long. Yet, the mission continues in striving to be a world-class organization ran by Bahamians for Bahamians. With the help of our experienced and hardworking team, we at the Bahamas Striping Group of companies are committed to making a difference, one road at a time.
I feel like fathers are so important in all kids' lives. My dad, he was my inspiration growing up. He taught us that hard work and grit. And, you know, it was a little tricky being coach and athlete, but I loved every bit of it. I don't think that I would have had the success that I have today if it wasn't for my dad being involved. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers around the world. Thank you for all that you do for us. We love you. Alive. Believe. Invest.
Is the Little Caesars Stuffed Crust Pizza. Get more pizza for less money. Only $12. It's a whole new level of pizza with cheese stuffed crust so spectacular that there's nothing left.
Pizza.
A delicious pepperoni pizza with the crust stuffed with lots of cheese and brushed with butter and garlic flavor and sprinkled with Parmesan cheese. Hot and ready Thursday to Saturday between 4 and 8 for only $12. Simply irresistible. And only at Little Caesars.
Pizza.
Good to grow. Keeping you in the know. Keeping you in the know. God, it's good enough to eat, and it's good to grow. It's good enough to eat, and it's good to grow.
Meet Emma Hepburn, a dedicated farmer whose journey with the land began in her early years, working alongside her parents. Over time, she continued her farming endeavors as a side passion. However, as she approached retirement, Hepburn made a pivot.
While I was employed with NIB, on weekends I would go and I'd do my farming, and it was getting ready for retirement, so I said, well, I'll continue with my farming because I noticed I was able to get some of my products sold. So after I retired from NIB, I continued doing my farming, and I got into the processing of the produce as well, because most of the stuff came from my farm, and instead of just letting them base, I just produce them.
One of Hepburn's best sellers is her grits, fresh off her farm in Cat Island. She walks us through that process.
Once the corn is full, we have to let the corn properly dry. Once the corn is dry, then I would go to the farm. I would have a knife with me, and I would shuck the corn out of the shuck. Once I bring the corn home, my mom, she shells the corn for me. I clean the corn and get it ready for grinding.
Once shucking is out of the way, it's time to grind the corn.
This corn here, they call this corn the Indian corn, or some people say Indian corn. But from a child, I meet my parents growing this type of corn, and normally from planting to harvesting, it takes about 90 days. And once you harvest, it's in this state, dried already, just ready for the mill. Yes. So you see how that is there right now? So the fine grits would leave in this pan, and the coarse one, I put it back in the mill.
And there you have it. Fresh native grits. Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Leah Cooper.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
The Department of Labor to launch what's being described as a revolutionary program to impact the workplace and skills training in the Bahamas. The National Apprenticeship Program will attract high school graduates, providing them a wide range of skills. Heading the initiative, Executive Manager of Special Projects and Labor and the Public Service, Robert Farquharson, says the benefits will be far-reaching and of a landmark nature.
We have too many young people who are leaving our education system at 16 and 17 and does not possess the skills to enter into the labor market. The National Apprenticeship Program will identify those young people, will put them in a training program, will certify them, and prepare them in conjunction with the employers to enter the labor market. And so at the end of the apprenticeship program, they will have skills, they will have certification, and they be able to pursue careers in many fields that are not traditional.
The program is expected to begin in July with a pilot drive in the maritime sector, providing scores of jobs in that field for young Bahamians. It will later expand to other areas of key interest to the Bahamian workforce.
Once we complete the pilot program, we want to move on to the auto repair program, the tourism and hospitality sector. We want to move on to medical and allied services. We want to move on to the construction sector. These are the areas where traditionally employers are calling for certification and certification by Bahamians. So there will be a limited need to rely on non-Bahamians to come into our country and to perform these jobs that we know if we get Bahamian certified, they'll be able to fill. And so it's going to be a transformative program, we believe, and it's going to transform the world of work in the Bahamas as we know it.
Persons with disabilities account for more than 12% of the population, but are grossly underrepresented in the local workforce. Many barriers, historic and those simply created through the lack of oversight and even prejudice, make it increasingly difficult for those with disabilities to earn gainful, meaningful employment opportunities. But members of the local community are trying to create a paradigm shift and open the door to a world of endless possibilities for this marginalized demographic. A two-day empowerment seminar for persons with disabilities wrapped up today at the Stapleton School. Townsley Roberts, the Deputy Executive Secretary for the National Commission of Persons with Disabilities, breaks down the objectives.
The vision is to help persons with disability to become entrepreneurs, to teach them how to maneuver through the system, how to get grants, how to get the help they need. And since it's difficult to be employees, why not be an entrepreneur and employ persons with disability? So that's our goal here.
A number of presenters, including human resources, financial and business development experts, participated in the two-day seminar. Today, Samantha Rowe from the Small Business Development Center told attendees about grants and other financial entrepreneurial assistance for small businesses available through that agency. Inspector with the Commission of Persons with Disabilities, Thorne Clark, says the seminar is significant for the community as disabled persons still face an uphill battle accessing employment opportunities.
It's helping them to get back into the workforce. You know, some persons may have suffered injury and haven't worked for a while, and this is an opportunity for them to get back into the workforce. And some persons may have been born with a disability and never worked before, and so this is a workshop to help integrate persons with disability back into society so they go from being invisible to visible.
Bahamar handing over a generous donation of $20,000 each to the Bahamas Humane Society and BARC. Both organizations rely on donations and community support to operate. The Bahamar Foundation's contribution then a significant boost to their efforts. The hotel senior vice president, Robert Sands, says the donation is the second of several to come and is part of an ongoing commitment to support local communities.
We have made donations last week to deserving donors, and this week we're making donations to 2 deserving donors. Next week and the week after, we would do additional donations until we exhaust the $210,000.
The Humane Society's assistant manager, Peter Feldman, expressed his gratitude, stating that the funds will aid in the relocation of stray animals to Newfoundland and Nova Scotia, Canada, and provide necessary medical care and shelter to homeless animals, particularly during this hurricane season. Laura Kimball, BARC's chairperson, added that the donation will also assist with their spay and neuter program.
It is because of Bahamar Foundation that we are able to not only get dogs out to Canada, but because the shelter will then be able to bring in new dogs. And we are worried about hurricane season. That way we will have space should something happen, and that we'll be able to take at least 80 dogs and maybe 30, 40 more cats. And they will be able to get off the streets and be able to be taken care of at the Bahamas Humane Society.
We would just like to say a huge thank you to Bahamar for their continued support over the years, and this is an amazing help to our work. So we're really grateful, and we just want to remind everybody to spay and neuter their dogs and cats, please.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
The most important thing in life is family, and whenever you need reliable advice, you look to the people you know you can trust. At J.S. Johnson Insurance Agents and Brokers, we earn our clients' trust every day. Whether it's home, motor, travel, or commercial insurance, we've got you covered. Call 397-2100 or visit jsjohnson.com.
JS Johnson Insurance, peace of mind.
We all know that our country's electricity infrastructure is decades old. It is breaking down, it is too expensive, and it cannot transmit clean energy. Small changes aren't enough. We are taking it all on. Upgrading and modernizing the grid, solar power, major energy reform. That's how we get to lower prices and more reliable electricity. It will not happen overnight, but it will be game-changing. A new energy era for the Bahamas.
Hi, I'm Brent Burrows, Vice President of Retail and Sales at CBS Bahamas and the CBS Pro Store. So today I'm here to tell you about our price match guarantee. If you find any of our products for a lower price from any of our competitors, we guarantee we will beat the price. Whether you shop online at cbsbahamas.com, at CBS Pro Store on Robinson Road, or at CBS in the Southwest Plaza, we guarantee we will beat the price. Speak to a store manager today or shoot us an email to take advantage of our price match guarantee.
So the sooner you invest in yourselves, you will not have to rely on your employers down the road. Last question.
What about entrepreneurs?
Entrepreneurs are pulled between the product that makes the money and the administration of the business. We provide solutions, support, and resources for everything else. Thank you for listening.
Where were you from again?
What's Leno?
As one of the country's lowest-lying islands, Bimini is particularly vulnerable to sea level rise, storm surges, and major flooding. The island last week experienced a bout of severe weather with heavy rains and thunderstorms over the course of several days. Its administrator, Eva Arthur, says last week's severe weather was a good test for the island's readiness for what is expected to be a very busy hurricane season.
Well, we've had our disaster management meetings and we've inspected our shelters, so they are ready. We're just looking for some more shelter managers, but the shelters are ready, and we're ready to go. So we had our, like I said, we had our disaster management meeting, and so everyone is ready. We're ready. We're prepared.
Well, speaking of being prepared, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather, and for that we turn to the one and only Chief Meteorologist, Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makisha. Well, preparedness remains the key word this hurricane season, and we had a pretty nice day with sunshine returning in the afternoon. We even had a brief passing shower, but right now we had partly cloudy conditions, 83 degrees, relative humidity 77%. The winds, they are out of the east at 17 miles per hour. Your barometric pressure 1,013.0 millibars, that's 29.91 inches. And your temperatures around the islands this evening, this is how things are shaping up. We have 84 degrees in Marshall, Abaco, Green, Torquay, and Freeport, also reporting 84 degrees. Berry Islands at 83, Allenstown, Bimini 85, 84 degrees in Harper Island and Rock Sound, Eleuthera, Fresh Creek, Central Andros as well. In Kemp Space at Andros, 82 degrees. Black Point, Exuma at 83, 82 in Otterstown, Cat Island. San Salvador, 84, 83 degrees in Rum Key. Georgetown, Exuma, pretty warm at 86 degrees. 83 in Ragged Island, Clarence Sound Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Maguana, 86. Ackland's at 87, Matthew Town and Niagara 85, and the Turks and Caicos Islands at 84 degrees. Now, your boating forecast for tonight through tomorrow. For all areas, the winds will remain out of the east at 15 to 20 knots. Those wave heights 4 to 6 feet, and that means caution flags are in place for the 700 islands. Low tide takes place at 40 minutes past midnight with a high tide at 7:07 tomorrow morning. And then on Thursday, for all areas, the winds become more east to southeast at 12 to 18 knots. Wave heights 3 to 6 feet, maintaining the caution flags for your boaters. Low tide 8:24 in the morning with a high tide at 2:58 in the afternoon. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance.
Where you going? Well, hey, y'all, where you been, y'all? I've been looking for you, looking for you. Well, hey, y'all, where you been, y'all? I've been looking for you. I've been chilling out by the bar last night. This y'all, she was looking nice, she blew my mind. Well, all the same, I start to order drinks and I drink everything. She make me feel.
And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. But stay tuned, the extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Want to have your voice heard? Send your letters to the editor to digitalmedia@znsbahamas.com. Share your thoughts on current events or positive stories within your community. That's digitalmedia@znsbahamas.com. We want to hear from you.
From June 1st to November 30th, the ZNS Radio and Television Network is the #1 source in the Bahamas for hurricane information before, during, and after a storm. Now is the time to choose your radio and television hurricane season ad packages. Get extra special rates and run the ads only when you want them to run. Call the ZNS sales office today at 502-3800.
Here at Immigration Care Service, you can trust us, especially if you have experienced issues or problems with the U.S. immigration at the borders. We'll do our best to provide options and solutions to immigration roadblocks, so travelers can continue visiting the U.S. and residents can continue living their lives in the U.S. without worries. The best part? Our services are affordable and accessible. Take the mystery, confusion, and fear out of your immigration concerns. Contact Immigration Care Service today.
Losing your furniture to costly termite damage? You need Rentokil Initials Drop-and-Go Furniture Fumigation, the only service like it in the Bahamas. Simply drop your furniture at a fumigation container located at 5th Terrace, Centerville, and collect your termite-free piece within days, sealed with our termite-free guarantee. Fast, convenient, affordable. When it comes to complete termite eradication, there's only one name, Rentokil Initial.
We have more than anyone else. We are the most. We are news leaders, and credibility is the order of the day.
Why don't you come to the most? Only the Sun can cover you better than our new digital product with exclusive stories and entertaining content.
We are the most. Community TV page and radio community announcements. The most viewers and listeners in the country.
We have the most years of the human history recorded. There's no archive like ours.
I came back home to bring you even more news and local programming. We're simply the most, the new ZNS.
Hey everyone, it's your boy Vontae, and welcome back to another episode of The Drop.
2 minutes to airtime. I came back home to make sure you have the most in news and entertainment. We're simply the most.
And I came back home to make sure that you have the most in information, education, entertainment, and inspiration. We're simply the most. The new ZNS, where only the sun covers the Bahamas better.
We are here in the time of need. There's no discrimination. The mission is to relieve the suffering. We volunteer, we deliver care. With donors and partners, we're always here to turn compassion into action. Protecting life and health with our training throughout the years. We empower to heal the world. There is hope, assistance with disasters. There is shelter and love for our people. We can work together to help those in need. So volunteer with us and donate to show you care. There is hope, assistance with disasters. There is shelter and love for our people. We can work together to help those in need. So volunteer with us and donate to show you care. Together, let's build a more resilient Bahamas. Community farming for food security. Climate programs suited for our island country. Together, let's build a more resilient Bahamas.
This message brought to you by the Bahamas Red Cross Society in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your ZNS Total Sports Check, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Our senior men's national basketball team currently in Houston as prospective members of the squad going through a training camp there. Bahamas Basketball Federation looking to finalize the squad before heading into their final qualifying tournament in Valencia, Spain. Now, most of the country's top players are in attendance, including Buddy Hield, Kai Jones, VJ Edgecombe, AJ Storr, Klay Thompson, and DeAndre Ayton. Assistant coach LJ Rose commenting at the end of the first workout.
When you got the guys to the gym, myself and Chris DeMarco, we literally just sitting there just watching. Because you're like, wow, like this is what we kind of dreamed of, you know? Getting all our young guys here. We have BJ Edgecombe, Donnie Freeman, AJ Storr. Then you have your college guys that are, you know, Dayton Albury, Sammy Hunter. And then, you know, you have your NBA guys. You know, we have, you know, Buddy Hield, DeAndre Ayton, Eric Gordon, Klay Thompson. So just to get that good mix, guys are able to lean on each other for guidance. And, you know, it's a fun group and guys are ready to compete.
Meanwhile, our under-17 boys national team expected to play in the Central Basket qualifiers. That'll be the first part of August. Location not yet decided, but that has not stopped head coach Jay Philippe and his squad from working out. The team is now in anticipation of that competition. Full squad practicing this past weekend at the Kendallizers Gym with players from Grand Bahama, players from New Province, and some players based in USA high schools all taking part. Coaching squad ran the team through some drills, game situation, and several scrimmages. Philippe says he hopes to cut the squad now to 15 players this week, but with the talent level as high as it is, it's not going to be an easy task.
What we saw offensively is just amazing. We saw some guys, Bahamian players that actually live in the U.S. and play in high school in the U.S. were able to come down home for the summer break. Something that we didn't anticipate early on, but I think it speaks volumes to our players. Then we had some local guys from the private schools and the public schools and guys from Grand Bahama came down as well too. And really came out here and displayed full potential. They showed exactly what it is to be a potential national team player. I mean, we're so pleased. Our coaching staff did an excellent job over the past 3 weeks, 4 weeks. They're trying to get all the database for all the players. But it's been so amazing to see these players come out there and play hard. Everybody wants to play. Not everybody will make the team.
Professional wrestling making its way to Bahamian shores once again with the staging of the Bahama Bash wrestling card slated for later on this month. The card even more significant as it features one of our very own. Charles Fisher tells the details.
For the first time ever, history in the making, Bahama Bash, Kalia Capri, a.k.a. Sierra Breeze, first ever female Bahamian pro wrestler to fight on home soil.
I feel good. I feel excited. I think slowly but surely, everybody on the island starting to pick up on Bahama Bash, and I think this can be an event that it could grow to be something big to where we having it every year, and it just get bigger and bigger, and we move from Bahamar ballroom to maybe the National Stadium.
June 29th, Bahama, the place to be. She is the face of the card everyone's coming to see.
Difference is, though, in the States, I think I could go out there and I feel no pressure at all. I think I feel excited, still confident. Over here, though, Bahamians, I know one thing. If you do garbage, they on your neck. They can start talking about it. They can keep talking about it for years and years to come. So I definitely have to put more than my best foot forward. I got something that I think the Bahamian people are going to fall in love with.
She has become a viral sensation with a personality with many appearances in the United States. Now Bahamians want to see their own in action face to face.
The Bahamian people are giving me positive feedback because I think everyone was always interested in wrestling. I think we never just involved the Caribbean as much as we could. And I think the people who were speaking for us were not being heard. So it's crazy that I came into the business and it's just a completely different atmosphere. I feel like a lot of people are being reached by my Sierra Breeze gimmick and my Kalia Capri gimmick. So I think this can be a moment that it's historic.
And if you think Kalia is excited, what do you think about the rest of the fighters on the card?
Man, of course they're excited. This is the Bahamas. We live where you vacation. They excited. They ready to see the blue waters. They ready to feel the nice, cool breeze on their skin. And of course, you can't complete the Bahamas without the Kalia Capri sun shining on everybody.
And if you want to meet Sierra Breeze and get some free tickets,
I have a meet and greet that'll be at Fusion Superplex, June 22nd from 3 p.m. until 5 p.m. So definitely come out and see me. Let's meet in person. Let's talk face to face. I definitely want to see everybody who's supporting me. I want to hear y'all, what y'all concerns is. I want to hear how y'all feeling about me right now, what y'all looking for. I want to know everything so that we can make this event something that Bahamians are going to want to come to every single year.
June 29th, it all goes down. Bahamians come out and cheer on our own. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Charles Fisher.
And shifting to sailing, where teen sailing prodigy Craig Ferguson II continues to make his mark in the sport. Swanson Gibson has more.
Craig Ferguson II is making waves on both national and international waters. The young sailor was crowned Bahamas Junior Sunfish Champion in 2023, and Optimus Silver Fleet Champion in 2022, and has his sight on greater achievements. Ferguson spoke about his accomplishments within the last few years, including recent performances both locally and abroad.
The experience was great. It was my last international event in the Optimus Fleet, so I was really excited. I wanted to do good. I really wanted to make the gold fleet, but unfortunately I couldn't, so I tried my best to push for first place in silver, and I did. Experience, that feeling of it was just amazing. It felt like no other feeling I've ever had before, and I'm really glad I did it. I competed in the Midwinters last year in the US in Florida. I got third place in that. Locally, I won the Junior Nationals about a month ago in the 4.7 fleet, and yeah, I've been pushing a lot, trying to get ready for hopefully Olympics.
The 16-year-old also discussed Opti sailing being recognized as the national sport and the guidance of his mentors.
International sailing has really been growing over the years, and I'm really proud of it.
And how have your coaches or mentors guided you throughout your sailing journey, and how long have you been sailing for?
I've been sailing for about 7 years. My coaches and my mentors have been a big part. The coaches helped me get where I am. Without them, I wouldn't be even close to where I am. And my mentors just keep me mentally focused and sound and allow me to prepare for everything I need to prepare for.
We hope to one day see Craig showcase his talent at the Olympics. For ZNS Total Sports, I'm Swanson Gibson Jr.
And that's your check on sports for you here on this Tuesday. Of course, our Tuesday weather is just ahead. Stay with us.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
This year, we were proud to introduce our theme, Under the Sea, and bring awareness to the importance of sustainable fishing and conservation of our amazing marine resources like lobster, the Nassau grouper, and conch. Moving forward every Boxing Day, the group will focus on a new cause as aligned with our key brand pillars and engaging an iconic Bahamian musician to create and perform a song to promote that cause.
What if you were told that you could learn about all the opportunities in all of Andros in one day? Well, you could participate in the Andros Business Outlook, Thursday, June 27th at the Andros Lighthouse Yacht Club in Fresh Creek, Andros. Register today at tclevents.com.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather, we continue to monitor two areas in the tropics. The first is right on our doorsteps. We're looking at an area of low pressure some several hundred miles to the east of the northwestern parts of the Bahamas, and that's been given about a 20% chance of developing over the next several days. But it is struggling due to some upper-level wind shearing taking place, so we don't think anything is going to happen out of that other than some rains, which troughing will push through the northwest Bahamas over the weekend, and that will provide some passing showers on the weekend. And then there's a second area in the Gulf of Mexico. This is a potential tropical cyclone. It's packing tropical storm force winds at 40 miles per hour, but it does not yet have a closed circulation, so it does not carry a name. But that should perhaps happen over the next day or two as we'll continue to monitor these two systems. Our satellite picture showing the circulation taking place there over the Gulf of Mexico. Lots of convectivity going on as well. And then this to the east, well to the east of us, there's also some convection, but you can see the sharing taking place there as well. Now, our forecast for tonight, patchy clouds, going to be a bit on the windy side, warm with a couple of showers developing later tonight. Low temperature, that should be around 79 degrees. And then tomorrow, we're looking at the windy conditions to continue. And there will be a mixed bag of clouds and sunshine, giving way to cloudy conditions with some occasional rains and even thunderstorms developing in the afternoon tomorrow. The high temperature should get up to 89 degrees. Your extended weather forecast for the next 7 days, we're going to have pockets of showers and thunderstorms right through Friday. Saturday, a little better with some stray showers still in the mix. It becomes a bit more scattered as we head into Sunday and Monday of next week.
Well, thanks, Basil. And before we leave, Bahamas Academy acknowledging its platinum class for character developing initiatives and academic achievements during its 2024 graduation exercise. As intern Jada Roll tells us, students were held in high regard as they move on to the next chapter of their lives.
45 graduates of Bahamas Academy are off to join the hundreds who will soon enter the labor force or start tertiary education. But before doing so, they were congratulated and given words of inspiration from keynote speaker, Defense Force Commander Raymond E. King.
You must identify your passion before determining your purpose or personal ministry. And a passion is best utilized when it is linked to a purpose, because it will sustain your passion through difficult periods.
Valedictorian Caden Johnson fondly reflected on the outreach programs, classroom antics, and even the difficult moments that united the graduating class.
Throughout this time, the music classes were some of the most enjoyable and energetic experiences. Mr. Bank taught us earnestly how to sing and play the recorder. Although we sang and played high enough to shatter the sound barrier on countless occasions. It remains the most unique rendition of hot crust buns I've ever heard.
Continuing their appreciation, the salutatorian Sundari Rollins closed the celebration by thanking the faculty and God for helping the students to reach this special milestone.
The Platinum Class of 2024 stand at this remarkable crossroad. Some would say we have first and foremost, we as the graduating class thank Almighty God for bringing us through such a stressful year to the culmination of our high school journey. Because of His divine help, we are here and able to celebrate today.
The Platinum class made its mark on Bahamas Academy through a final class trip to Tampa Bay, where the students spent their time packaging over 13,000 potatoes, cumulating to over 12,000 meals in an effort to stop hunger in South Florida. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm intern Jada Roll.
Well, thanks, Jada. And that does it for the Bahamas Tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.